I don't care about my parents, what they want. I don't, and I went off, did my own thing, and got pregnant. And then through that whole journey, I found my way back, and my mom and dad and Jesus were waiting there with open arms.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is episode 37, I believe, and we have another amazing guest on. Her name is Gemma. What's your baby's name? Introduce the baby. Josephine. Wow.
Tell us a little bit.
Just look
yourself.
at it. Little Josephine.
Little bugger. Does she have something to say? I think she has something to say.
Do you have something to say? No. I don't think so.
She will, though,
She's
during the
more
episode.
fascinated.
We have designated.
The baby has been
babysitters.
transferred into
Safe hands.
hopefully safe hands.
All right, so Gemma has been a friend for a very long time.
Very many years.
We used to go to school together, the good old days.
I met her last night.
Well, I met her in first grade. So
Was it first grade? When did
I
we?
think it was it was first grade for you.
Yeah,
my
small.
first grade. Probably Luke's third.
I remember
second grade.
seeing you guys for the first time. I was like, we were in that top section at school with Miss Smith. You weren't there, but it was Patch. She has a lot of brothers and sisters. You want to list all the names? Give them a little credit.
Yeah, sure. We got Patch, also known as Jacinta or Claire, or Jacinta Claire. Got Aaliyah, got Beckett, got Philomena, and we got Petra.
And there's only one male.
Yep, only one male, and he is the best.
Little Beckett.
Love Beckett.
We should have one on the podcast sometime.
Yeah.
He does some wise words to say.
He would.
Beckett, if you're listening to this, what's up, bro?
You could probably recite lots of Latin prayers.
Yeah, or tell you about insects.
That's interesting.
You could have an episode, Insects and Jesus.
I literally thought you said incest for a second. I was like,
Jonah, any fond memories we have together, Gemma?
I mean, we went to school.
Yeah.
And we hung out a lot, like on play dates, I guess you would call them.
What games did we play? Like hide and seek?
Yeah. Tag with Dawson.
I'll always tag with Dawson.
Groundies on the playground.
Groundies, ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Gemma was always the smartest in class, I feel like.
I don't know. I feel like it was a tie between you and me. You were definitely the best drawer.
Well, I was the more creative, I guess, but like you were definitely smarter than me, like in math and stuff.
Oh.
I remember, what was it? I think it was Miss Jabor.
Mrs. Jabor.
She handed you a pen, and she's like, "You're gonna write with a pen now."
I
not a pencil.
I hated
Bro,
that.
when I made like Mr. Boar scared for her life, I had that toy knife that would like retract.
That was Miss
her blade.
Badgett.
No, yeah, that was Miss Badgett. And I stabbed Gary, and like Miss Badgett had a heart attack because it looked like I stabbed him with the toy knife. That was funny.
what is going on?
Poor Wolfgang.
Good day. Good
So
day.
Anyways,
confused.
that was our past.
Mike's
Yes.
so hot.
But you moved away from Colorado. What was it? How many
6
years ago?
years.
6 years ago.
Whatever.
And during that time, we've met up with their family
Like once
once or twice. Yeah. But she's come here and visited, and she's kind of on her own now. But
Actually,
from
well, like the
when-
reason we have Gemma on is because, she's Gemma and she is a teen mom, right? So that's
She
the
has a-
baby. That is her baby, not someone else's.
We just stole it from downstairs.
From the nursery, the
We
parent
need a
didn't
good
like
thumbnail.
come in quite soon enough, so we stole it. So yeah, if you just want to.
So October 2021, I had just it was like a week after I had just gotten out of a really unhealthy relationship, and I found out I was pregnant. My mom woke me up at 2 a.m. because of suspicion and was like, "Gemma, you gotta take a pregnancy test," and I was freaking out. Faked it, stuck it in the toilet. Everything was fine, and then went to a doctor's appointment and found out I was gonna have a baby. And
How many weeks were you in at this point?
I think I was five.
I was gonna say,
6.
like, could you kind of tell, or were you like,
Oh,
it's just getting
fun
fatter?
fact, you couldn't tell till
Okay.
You can't tell till a while.
Well, yeah, but
I
I was
was
wondering.
39 weeks pregnant, and I took my pilot's license exam, and my instructor didn't even know. So,
Nice way to throw the pilot flex in there. I like it.
so that was more just like that's like my one
No,
thing
it's
of like
cool.
could
It's just
not
like, isn't it a
tell.
funny trend how people just like flex their pilot's license or something?
Look at me.
It's like I've
I
seen
can
all these
fly.
memes of like when
Yeah.
you're trying to flirt and it just comes out, I'm a pilot.
Yeah.
It's like my one thing I got to
That's awesome.
leverage here.
You've got a pretty cute baby too.
That too, but that's a little trickier situation to, yeah.
Yeah, this is my mom. This is my newest sibling.
It's not like you can like walk up to them with like a puppy or something. It's like, this is how I get chicks. I just take my cute little new puppy and I go up. It's like, here's a baby. It's like, well,
Yeah, they're like,
it's a little bit different.
Let's get back on track here. So yeah, you're pregnant.
Found out I was pregnant. I was at the time living in Colorado, being a nanny. So my mom left, and it was just me again, and I was battling that. The dad really wanted to be involved, but he had some very just toxic traits that I knew if we tried to make this work, Josephine would grow up in a very divided home. And I think a father figure is extremely important, but I drew the line.
You need the right father figure, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not doing that to my baby. And so lawyers got involved. It became a really just nasty battle back and forth. And it got to the point where I realized that the only way forward was adoption. And for a very long period of time, I was preparing to not be the mom of Josephine. And that was really difficult to be like, oh, I'm going to carry this baby for 9 months and
give it away. Yeah,
give it away. But I didn't want a custody battle. I didn't want all that stress. So I had agreed that my aunt and uncle were going to adopt my baby. I was probably 8 months in, 8 months in.
So you're getting close.
Yeah. So I had kept pushing it off.
And your parents knew at this point, right?
Well, they knew at the beginning.
Yeah, they knew very shortly.
Just for you guys know, like, Gemma grew up in like a Catholic home, so it's not like it was just like this super like, yeah, abortions are totally fine if you want to do it. It's like,
yeah.
So was that ever on the table, or was that?
That was definitely the scary part, because I was growing up in a very Catholic home and have very strong pro-life views. I was always like, who would even consider that? Like, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But when I found out, it crossed my mind. Not necessarily the fact of like, I want to do this, but I was
it was like an
this
option.
is an option.
This is like plan Z right here.
It was like, this is an option, and if I did go that route, it would make a lot of things easier, because I wouldn't have to deal with the father. I wouldn't have to go through that. I wouldn't be a single teen mom. Like,
and you wouldn't have to worry about your kid being out there with somebody else that adopted them.
Yeah, I would like it.
And
It
then
definitely
having them show up on your doorstep one day.
Yeah, exactly. And so it definitely crossed my mind. Which, looking back, I was like, wow, I can't believe I thought about that.
Well, that's the crazy thing. Like, when we're thinking on like certain things, like, I would never do that to somebody. But then when the opportunity actually arises, like when we went skiing, this is the perfect example. I've talked about this before on the podcast. I'll just say a really short
that
story.
Was Gemma that you were with?
Yeah.
I tell that story all the time. It's so funny.
This is the story of how Luke screwed over Gemma.
Seriously. It's okay.
So we were skiing, and we duck out of the bounds, which we both agreed was a reasonable idea for some reason. And then
The powder, dude.
it was good powder.
It was such good powder.
We were skiing down, and all of a sudden we see a ton of people down there, and we're like, oh, that's.
Mind you, they were in a gully, so they couldn't just like ski away.
No, we were like, we're
trapped.
screwed.
We're
Like,
like,
they're either.
At first, I thought there were just other like tourists being stupid. I'm like, oh, we'll
Cool,
just
we're
ski past
fine.
them. I start, and like before this, we talked about like I would speak German if I ever got caught by ski patrol.
Yeah, we thought up a plan for this.
And so we come down, and interject at any time if I'm telling this wrong in any way, but we realized just ski patrol. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna keep skiing. They stop me, and I act like I just speak German, which was the first big mistake.
Should have just triggered an avalanche.
Hey guys, deal with this.
Just throw the dynamite, click the button, watch it just go, and they're gone. You're like,
James
whew.
Bond movie.
And so this is the point where I'm like, I forget kind of Gemma's there, and I'm like, ski pass. I love skiing. I need to ski. I'm not thinking about anything else. All
And
my
I had
morals.
fallen right before you'd gotten to the ski patrol.
Okay, so you fell before I got to the ski patrol?
I
Okay.
fell right as you got there.
How'd
My
you
ski
fall?
popped off. Well, because it was a bunch of boulders, and I got stuck.
That's
and
why
my
there was
ski
ropes there,
popped
because
off.
this is bad skiing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't think I knew you fell yet when I was talking.
I don't think you did.
And so, okay, I'm just going to go. None of them had skis on, so I'm like, I knew I was going to make it out of there.
Like,
And so-
stop.
They're
And
running
Luke is
after
like, was hast du gesagt? Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
So I just go.
Which is kind of stupid, because you can tell when someone is trying to get you to stop in any language.
That's true. I was very stupid German, I guess.
What
Anyways,
does this lines mean? I don't know. I just go under them.
So I go, and
I'm just stuck.
I get what do they just walk up to you and then just like
No, well, I'm hobbling down, like trying to put my ski on in the powder, and I
gosh.
finally am just like I couldn't like book it. I just was slowly inching in, and
yeah.
they're like, "Hey,
Oh,
like,
hey guys!
yeah." I was like, "Hi." and
I
they were
was
like,
trying to catch that guy. I wanted to stop him.
I'm with you guys.
seriously. Well, not really. I kind of threw you under the bus. Well, no, I didn't. I was more like, I don't know. I just met him, like, because they were like, "Is he really German? Like, does he speak English?" I was like, "I don't know." Like, I just met him on the chairlift. Like,
Just met him on the chairlift. It's just a random guy speaking German. He was like, "I have good run," and you're like, "See."
yeah. Yeah, at that point I was screwed, and they called ski patrol, and I skied all the way down, and
Yeah, so at this point, I went behind a tree
yeah.
where the run ends, and I had a camo and white jacket, so I was camouflaged.
I remember that.
And I just see ski patrol and snowmobile on skis going by on the radios, like kid with a yellow bag, like just describing me, and I'm just like, this is a GTA mission.
Luke always says that. He's like, "Dude, this feels like a GTA."
It felt like the stars were going up.
I'm in 3 stars. I'm about to pull out the RPG.
So did she like end up telling them your name or something, or is that what happened?
So I think they made you tell me.
Like-
Yeah, well, they kept pressing. They're like, "We need a name."
What is his
I was
name?
like-
It's Hans. I'm telling you, I just met him on the channel.
It's like, I don't know, like something generic. Like,
You could come up with something.
the officer was really intimidating.
You just gotta come up with a German name.
He was short and stocky, and I was
His name was Adolf.
Adolf.
Was it?
No.
Oh, I was like, how'd you know?
I don't know.
No, he's talking about like the name you
No.
should have given him.
So you just give him a random
Just like
name.
a German name, just the
Just a
most
German-
generic thing ever. I met Hans.
All right, the story's turning way too long.
Yeah.
Anyways, I ski down, and there's ski patrol looking for me. Somehow I ski past, and they don't realize it's me. And I go to the bottom. I take my jacket off, make myself look different, and then meet Gemma back at that. Like, also, I forgot my phone at home that day, so I couldn't call her or do anything. I just had my Apple Watch, and I was trying to connect my Apple Watch to the Wi-Fi of the hotel, and it wouldn't work.
Trying to type
Luke's
in.
sitting here like,
I will meet you at the train station on 8th Street, and we will get out of this together.
And so, yeah, and then they pulled your pass.
Yeah, and I got a nice fine.
Yeah,
that day.
$250, and then, yeah, they like looked through your Instagram, like they
Yeah,
found.
they did.
Or is that how
found-
they figured it out?
I don't know, but they looked through one of our. Yeah, because they showed you on Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't know how they found you on Instagram, but
Anyways,
His name's
So-
not Hans.
He's probably following Aspen Snowmass.
so that they could kind of find out like who went on the chair at a certain time, probably, and then just went from there. Anyways, they found out who I was. So I think like a day or so later, the police call me.
Didn't you try going skiing again and your pass got denied?
Probably.
Imagine you pull out your phone, it just says 911 calling, and you're like,
So they thought it was my dad because it was a landline number. So I thought they were talking to my dad. And I was like, no, this is me. And I kind of admitted to everything. And so then that led to like, I think I met with them 4 times with ski patrol. And it took 10 weeks to get my pass back. And yeah, there was fines and stuff.
10 weeks is like half the season.
Yeah. Anyways, still got 60 days though. So
The good
it's
thing is Luke did pay for Gemma's ticket because it was his fault. So.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway.
so you
Nah,
peer
but-
pressured her.
Anyways.
What a good
so
Christian.
bad. That day was really fun, but
Okay,
So
back on
that,
topic.
that just goes to the point to show like you think you're never
babies.
gonna like abandon someone or like do something, but when it comes to the moment, it's just like those morals kind of just go to the back of your head and you just rely
Enter
on
survival
instinct.
mode.
Yeah.
I'm really glad you wrapped that up properly.
Yeah.
Like,
Because that would not have made sense.
I'm just telling this story for fun.
Anyway, Gemma, continue with your story.
I don't even know where I left off.
You were considering, I guess
Oh.
we're talking, considering abortion.
Oh yeah, well, adoption. Oh, yeah. Anyways, that did cross my mind. Obviously, didn't make that decision, which was good.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, 9 months later, Oh no. Okay, so during this period in March, so I was like 5 months pregnant. The father committed suicide, and that was a huge, just like I don't even know how to explain it, but it was just this huge like moment of holy cow. Like
That's crazy, yeah.
and like it was insane because I am Catholic, and 30 days before that I had started a prayer to Saint Joseph, and I was telling him, I was like, I need you to let me know like if I'm supposed to keep my baby or if I'm supposed to give her up for adoption, and if I'm supposed to keep her, I need you to figure out the dad factor because I'm not doing a battle with him.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of 30 days, I finished that, no sign, and then literally days after,
He's
he
gone.
committed suicide. He was gone. And I was just like, wow. So that was just a whole layer of like trying to figure out like God's plan, how he works. And after that happened, I went back home to Idaho because I was in Denver for this whole period. And
Yeah, so if any of these questions like make you uncomfortable, like you don't have to answer them at all, but like do you know why? Was it because of the baby, or was it like other factors, or
there was a lot of other factors. He had a very traumatic childhood, and he had a lot of just head stuff that he had to work out. So, I mean, I blame myself a lot, but I do know that like he was hurting so bad, and I think the baby thing made it worse because he really wanted to be a dad. And I think denying him that really pushed him over the edge. And, yeah, I mean, he didn't really leave a lot of clarity after that.
yeah, for
And
sure.
so, I don't really know.
So what did you feel? Like, were you in a sense
It was a total just wave of,
just like a
Guilt.
roller coaster? Or?
yeah. I mean, I cried for a very long time. But, like, I don't know. It was hard because I did love him at one point. And so there was this, like, holy cow, I just lost this person that I cared deeply for. Part of me was like, gosh, just so angry that he would do that. I also had a lot of people blaming me for it. So another part of it was just guilt and just frustration. And I don't know, I feel like I felt a lot of emotions. And I'm still working through that. But, yeah.
It's crazy.
It was,
I can't even
it was
imagine
wild.
dealing with
Yeah,
something
no
like that.
idea.
But
It's insane.
4 months later, had my beautiful baby girl. And it's been great since. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
What's it been like being kind of on your own? Because you've always been kind of a, I don't know, rebellious or like
yeah.
independent
Yeah.
person, and so you obviously can deal with it and cope with it. But what are like the benefits and like the big struggles you've had? I guess having a kid at 18
Yeah.
by yourself. In a sense, your family supports you and everything, so
Oh,
you're not on your
yeah.
own.
No, but
But like now you're here, but like
Denver.
without family.
Yeah, that's
Denver.
another question I wanted to ask. Like, how's the family reacting? Like, your younger sister's like what, 2 years younger, and
yeah.
her older sister has a baby. Like,
Yeah, it was kind of bad. My sister below me, Patch, kind of was like, yeah, I kind of expected this. Oh,
God.
man!
I knew it.
Really?
That was gonna
Like,
happen.
I remember telling her and Aaliyah, who's 13, and I mean, they were all very supportive, and it surprised me when I told them. I, for a long time, didn't get along with my dad, and I was getting ready to be put on the chopping block and just,
yeah, just like
Just
exiled
done.
from the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he surprised me and ended up being,
Pulled the belt out.
like, he ended up being one of my biggest supporters, and overall, just, I was welcomed a lot more than I was expecting.
That's awesome.
Which is amazing. And I've dealt with the stuff from other people, but for the most part, like, the people that are close to me really rallied around me.
I think that's a huge thing we can take
all that
away from this
matters,
is like,
really.
because you hear all these horror stories of people that are in Christian families or religious families, and when they do something bad, their family essentially disowns them.
Chastises them.
And
beyond
that
belief.
just wreaks so much more pain and sorrow, and bad things come out of that instead of, that's what Jesus did for us, essentially. He died for our sins. That's kind of like the ultimate version of doing that, but that's
Yeah.
really cool.
It's been interesting being by myself now that I've moved. It's great. I was raised in a big family, so there's a lot of it that's come very naturally, and it's kind of like, oh, I've got a kid, no problem. Like, it feels like I'm like raising
you always
a
had your
sibling.
mom's baby.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you were ready for it.
Sounds weird, but it's like, oh, it's just like one of my siblings. Like, I'm just taking care of him. The other part, it's been really hard socially, and just trying to figure out what my future looks like. It's the idea of relationships.
Yeah.
How has your future changed? Like, because we all have like a future in our heads that we think of,
Yeah.
but
Uh,
division.
The ideal, yeah.
the deal, yeah. But then like a really cool line is like your list, like your idea of life is so much worse than what God's idea of your life is, and it's like always a battle choosing your path. or
Even
his
if you
path.
think it's amazing,
yeah.
it's never going to be as good as what God has planned for you.
And then I love your quote, like God can,
Write straight with crooked
yeah.
lines. Yeah.
Here, say that again clearly. That'll be a good line.
God can write straight with crooked lines.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So like,
A little bit of a tongue twister.
Yeah, say that 10 times fast. Jeez.
It's like another Paul or Saul to Paul story in a way, which is cool. But yeah, how's your life?
Except she wasn't blinded.
Well, I relate a lot to the prodigal son. That's been a Bible story that really...
We all relate to that in a way.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it's like one of those stories that was like... But it definitely was... I was like, I don't care about my parents, what they want. I don't, and I went off, did my own thing, and got pregnant. And then through that whole journey, I found my way back. And my mom and dad and Jesus were waiting there with open arms. And it was really beautiful, and so I definitely relate with that story.
Yeah, because you were like in a way like expecting to like be like
Exile.
like the slave of the family
exactly.
again.
I was like,
the
I'm gonna have to
servant.
eat a pigsty. I'm gonna have to eat. Yeah.
Here, Gemma, we're all done with dinner now. I guess you can come out and eat.
But keep the bag on your head.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man. Thankfully, it wasn't like that.
No, she has an awesome family, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah, you still want to be like you still want to be in the Air Force, I think.
I did. That's changed.
Yeah.
Just because now that I do have a kid, I'm like, do I really want to be gone that much and risk my life potentially? Yeah. No. But that's honestly what I'm trying to figure out because I still haven't figured it all out yet.
Yeah.
Because I would love to fly, but
and you are a pilot, so you do fly. But
for a job. Like for a job. Like I thought, commercial airlines, probably not gonna happen. Bush pilot, that'd be sweet.
It's a lot safer than the Air Force, I'd say.
Yeah, but Air Force is fast.
Private pilots are cool, but you gotta go like a bunch of different places. Like you just have to.
What's the fun of it?
You just gotta move with. I just feel like that would be harder with.
Jack, your family should buy a private jet, and then Gemma can be your pilot.
Ah.
All right, so like, what's your vision now for the future? I guess you don't know, right?
I don't know.
But what are you doing right now?
Right now, I just moved to Denver, working for a ministry that's focuses in helping women survivors of sex trafficking recover, which has been beautiful. And
we'll leave that in the links below if you guys want to check it out.
Yeah, super amazing, and it's giving me that longing that I have to help other women. It's kind of filling that want that I've had. Repeating myself.
Well, I'm kind of jealous, honestly, because like you have a really cool testimony. And we always talk about this like boring and then
Luke
like,
always says this.
testimony.
He's like, well, my
Well, let's
my
hear the testimony then.
sucks.
Come on.
My testimony?
No, hers.
You always,
Wait, what?
I don't know.
What?
You're always
I thought I
crapping on your own testimony. Like, I was born right in the church. It's not that cool.
No, I was kidding. Luke was like,
I wish I was a drug addict like Matthew.
Next time when I'm born, I'll just inject heroin in my arm and say, praise
Okay,
God,
if you're
20
gonna take
years
anything
later.
from this podcast, don't do that.
No,
Oh,
like it's just
man.
like I'm super grateful for that, but like I feel like it's harder to minister without like I don't think it really is, but it's just like the sense of having that story is more powerful than just like me talking and having like it was like I was always Christian, so like
Yeah, Luke, you're really boring. Thank you for telling us.
It's like Jeremy Part 2.
let's hop into the abortion topic. I think is a good start to do this now. So
Oh, spicy.
I've wanted to talk about this topic for a while. I think we all have, but I think it's hard to talk about it. Obviously,
Yeah, without any
as
personal
none of us have
experience.
it. Like any
Because we don't have a uterus.
We don't
It's
get an
just
opinion.
hard to
That's false.
So
Says who?
Me, the one with the uterus.
The
they have all the power.
The uteri.
I get like a
Oh
grand
god, these are some really awful jokes. I'm just gonna move the mic away. All right, guys, do your talking. I'm gonna shut up now.
Wait, jokes? I never thought I'd hear like, okay, we're talking about abortion today, so let's start off with the
No, I just called her the uterized.
Oh,
like,
gosh.
Okay.
I thought you were saying Luke's sitting here with like a full of jokes
Look at
about
this
abortion.
joke sheet.
Okay.
All right, rally back.
Laughing is good.
Do any of us have like a fast take on abortion that we can just start off with? Like a few facts.
It's one of
last
those things where you can't just
30.
say one sentence and then that's your viewpoint.
It's like
Watch
a
me.
conversation topic.
Yeah, for me, it's like it's like a really intricate.
All right,
personal
I'll
thing,
hit
too.
the baseball to start bat us off here.
All right.
Over the last 32 years, since 1980, there have been approximately 1.6 billion abortions worldwide.
That's crazy.
You sound like Emperor Palpatine.
I think
That's my
happy
that's my
about
take
it,
on
so.
that.
Planned Parenthood does about 300 to 400,000 abortions a year,
Yeah.
which is insane.
Which is
the amount
like usually paid by
people that is.
taxpayers and
Have
stuff.
you
Yep.
seen like their whole like, oh, this is only like 13% of our.
No, 3%.
Yeah,
is
3%.
like
They say it's 3%, and you know what that is? It's 3% of the amount of like actions that they do. So, for instance, if someone goes in for an ultrasound, that's considered an action. If someone goes in for a pregnancy test, that's an action. So, abortion is only 3% of the actions that they do. I forget. Let me look up how much of their profit it is.
I think 95%
Yeah,
of
it's
their
like
like surgeries or like operations
Uh-huh.
are. I'm not sure if they're abortion related, but like a lot of them are.
A lot
So-
of it is, and then what people don't know, because they always say it's healthcare. It's for women. Like, that's not their main focus. Their goal is to save lives. Like, they do make the majority of their profits based off of abortions, and they try to. I don't know. Oh, what's the name of that movie? Have you seen Unplanned? Well, women go into these places vulnerable,
Yeah.
scared, thinking it's their only option, and the reality is a lot of these women that go in there have only known that they're pregnant for 24 hours or like a couple days, because it's like they get into that fight or flight mode, and they find that out. They think about the ramifications, and they go, nope, can't do this, schedule an appointment, go. And so then you walk into Planned Parenthood, and they do, oh, you can just get rid of it. Like, it's just a small procedure. And yeah, like, I mean, yeah. They very much press that when you go into there.
Should we just give Jocelyn a mic?
Yeah, you want to come sit on my lap?
So do you agree with like, okay, so let's say, would you agree with abortion, like like a Plan B pill? Like, no?
And that's, no.
What's the reasoning behind that?
This is tough because this is one that haven't thought about, but it hit hard with me because when I was telling my family and just bringing up all the stuff about my relationship with the dad, I mentioned that he made me take Plan B pills. And my mom just white face. And she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, like it just prevents pregnancy. It doesn't, and she's like, those can cause an abortion. Even, I mean, granted, usually you take them 24 hours
Does she mean
later.
like they can cause a miscarriage or?
It can kill, like, if
Well, they're the baby.
There are
Yeah.
abortion pills as well. That's a thing.
Well, it's called like a, but that's something that for a long time I didn't have a problem with.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought it was like a birth control where it prevented, which I don't agree with
But
either.
like,
a
within
case
24
one.
hours, it kills the egg, right? So like
Yeah.
most of the time, like the sperm hasn't even reached it.
It's a case
Not
by case
necessarily.
basis. It depends on whether or not.
Sometimes, yes. It just, like, I'm not saying it does in every situation, but it has the ability to destroy a pregnancy that has just started, which in and of itself is an abortion. Or
This is where like me and you disagree because I like it hasn't even started forming yet. So
Okay.
in
That's
my
not-
opinion,
no,
I think
This
like,
is this is the
Oh.
this is the thing. Hold on. Calm down, everybody. Okay, so this is what the thing is. Jonah basically believes that if it is preventing a pregnancy, or
That
tell me if
hasn't
I'm
even
getting this wrong.
begun
Yeah,
yet.
if it hasn't
Yeah.
begun, then it is okay. But Gemma says that you're never 100% sure whether or not the pregnancy has begun yet.
but it's like not even starting it.
see, that's where you have to. That's
It's like
where it
throwing
comes
away
down.
the instruction manual.
Well, that's
just
where it
burning
comes down to what you believe, in the sense of sometimes it prevents a pregnancy, but other times, I mean, because I believe that life starts the second that connection between sperm and egg happens.
Yeah, but
Like
if it hasn't even happened
No, no,
yet,
no,
that's where I think Plan B is okay.
yes, but see, you never know. Like, it can happen like that. I don't remember what it is, but do you know how, like, many sperm cells are released? A lot. And the likelihood
Like 4
of you...
billion, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
there's-
No, it's like
ridiculous.
I think it's 400 million. So like the chances of you being born are like 1 in 400.
And they get shot at like
which
what,
is crazy in itself.
22 miles an hour.
Yeah, something ridiculous.
Hold on.
Let's... Some biology, kids.
We can keep
Biology?
going. while he's
Anyways,
looking that
but
up.
like, that's where...
Up
Yes,
to
it
28
prevents it.
miles an hour.
It's faster than I can ride on my bike.
Oh, man, that's nice. But
No,
like, I don't know. That's where the difference is, I feel
yeah,
like.
for sure.
You never know. Yeah, Jonah, just basic biology.
Oh God, we're
kidding.
gonna sit here. I
No.
am science. If you deny me, you deny science. Who am I? Who am
That's
I,
where
guys?
the-
Who am I?
Jeremy.
No.
No. I don't know.
Dr. Fauci.
Dr. Fauci, give us vaccine.
But I feel like that's where the abortion argument gets so tricky, is because everyone has a different definition of life and when they believe it starts, and
for sure.
what they think is a baby, and that's where I think I don't know.
Yeah, like when does a baby develop moral value?
My
right?
definition.
Yeah, when does it gain sentience?
Let's do this controversially. My definition of a life is whatever we would consider life if we were to discover a planet and
Mars.
that thing would be on it. So, for instance, if we found live bacteria on Mars, would we consider that life?
Yes.
I mean, they do consider it life.
Yeah,
Okay.
they do. So
Well, then why is a full-grown baby here not considered life?
I know, it's crazy.
Because
And like,
it's a crazy argument.
if you were to just smush like something that's this big that's alive on Mars, everyone would be on you. Like immediately.
You go
You
to
killed the
jail.
fungi on Mars! How dare you!
Like it's like a mushroom, and you just go, and then everyone's just go, like
No.
you.
but people are like, it doesn't even have a heartbeat. Well, there's plenty of humans that have pacemakers to survive. They're
Well, they freak out about baby chickens being murdered.
Yeah.
Like, don't eat eggs.
Don't put
They're vegan. Yeah.
don't put the bit.
Just like I think the whole argument is when is a human being a human being?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's the entire pro-life.
Yeah, and that's
Argument.
the whole debate.
Because everyone can
within
agree that
itself.
killing a human is wrong.
Yeah.
Even if you believe in God or not, the morality that's in you, which is from God, that's a whole topic.
Not
It's like-
Joseph Stalin. He didn't believe that.
But yeah, just like when is a human life a human life?
That's good. Yes, that's the whole debate. So that's something that is purely like what you believe, and we can't really get into that. So instead, I think we should talk about the racist backgrounds of Planned Parenthood.
Actually,
Yeah.
I don't know much about it.
All right,
I wrote
so
a paper 2 years ago.
what's her face?
Margaret Sanger,
Sanger.
the founder of Planned Parenthood.
Avid racist.
I'm gonna look up my
If you cancel people for using the N-word like 10 years ago, think of it like 50 years ago. It's pretty bad.
it's pretty bad.
I would say it was worse back then than it is today because they were using it, probably the majority of the time, they were using it literally.
I mean, basically what she did is she hung out with, the founder of the Ku Klux Klan, whatever. Biden did too, but that's okay.
We don't look at that.
Yeah.
Trudeau did
I don't know.
blackface.
Sweep
He's
that
the
under the
president
rug.
of Canada.
Basically what she did is she wanted to decrease the population of black people. So she created Planned Parenthood under the banner of, freedom for women, and then she strategically placed them in minority neighborhoods. I mean, like even that, like sole fact alone, just like gives you like a whole picture of like the whole
Organization.
organization in
Yeah.
itself.
And what's frustrating is we live in a society now that's so feminist and so pro women, like women can do whatever they want. But then we tell you, they tell women, but you're not capable of being a mother.
Kill
Like
the
you are
baby
too
woman.
weak. You are too, like you're incapable of doing this. Whereas if they apply the same logic that they do to everything else, just be like, no, you can be a dang good mother. Like you are capable, and that's not. It's just. Yeah.
Girl, you need no man on your side. My main thing that I looked at with race and abortion and whatnot was mostly in New York City. And I got this from the LazierInstitute.org. And this says, non-Hispanic black women continue to be disproportionately impacted by abortion. In 2016, as in previous years, more African-American babies were aborted than born alive in New York City.
That's
Out
insane.
of the 47,718 total reported pregnancies expected by non-Hispanic black women, almost half, 49%, ended in abortion, while 4% ended in miscarriage, and only 47% were live births.
That's crazy.
So that should tell you that abortion is kind of a racist, like the whole premise of it is kind of.
I mean, it's a problem for any human being, obviously. But yeah, there's
Mhm.
definitely.
Yeah, if you think about it, that's like 25,000 people in one city. That's not even counting nationwide or anything like that.
I mean, I think abortion is what, the third leading cause of death
Yeah, let's stop wearing COVID masks and stop aborting people.
Yeah.
Like okay, so like the number one like leading cause of death, I'm pretty sure, like I'm 99% sure, is heart disease.
Well, yeah,
it's literally 1 in every 4 deaths
for born
from
people.
from like alive people comes from heart.
And they're
disease.
probably older.
And that in the United States is like 650,000. And so then you take abortion, which is like 300 to 400, which is number 3.
That's just Planned Parenthood. I don't know if any other people do.
Yeah,
but probably.
It goes from heart attack to I'm pretty sure, is it vehicle-related deaths? Is number 2?
That wouldn't surprise me.
Or cancer.
No,
it's
probably
cancer.
either cancer or diabetes. I don't remember one.
It goes from heart to like cancer, and then there's abortion.
No, I think abortion's number 1. I think there's 1 million abortions in the U.S. a year. Let me check this real quick.
I thought it was like 300 to 400,000.
No, that's just Planned Parenthood.
Who else does it?
A lot of other
There's
people.
a lot of independent people. There are nearly 1 million abortions per year on average, and that's just the ones that are reported.
Okay, so yeah, that puts it at number 1.
Yeah.
Like,
so the number one cause of our generation's death is we're killing babies.
Do people, like, how do you not see the problem in that, right? Like, everyone's main focus these days is to, like, try and prevent death, right? They're like, oh, my God, let's, like, stop COVID.
Put on these masks.
Right? And I don't even know how many people died, but it's nothing compared to that.
Let's force these people to get the vaccines.
And people are like, oh, overpopulation, this is good. But
Which we're underpopulated
Elon
now.
Musk, like, go listen to Elon Musk talk about this. He's like,
I think that the biggest problem the world will face in 20 years is population collapse. I want to emphasize this. The biggest issue in 20 years will be population collapse. People think we have like too many people on the planet, but actually this is an outdated view.
Dropping, right? It used to be 5-6 children per family. Globally, it's like 2.4. In the U.S., it's below replacement levels.
I mean, in most of Europe, Russia, Japan, Korea, Singapore, it's well below replacement.
The Earth is gonna die. This is like our demise if we don't fix something. There's not gonna be people left on this Earth because right now we're not making enough humans to continue on the trajectory we need to be
There's
going.
enough humans now, but like
It's a problem in China.
Yeah.
Because they kill a lot of the baby girls.
Well, yeah, no, it's disproportionately. There's 1 million
and
more
they also had the
men
law where you
than
can only
women
have one
in China.
child.
That too.
Well, no, that ended a couple of years ago.
Still, but there's so many men now that can't find
Now you can have 2.
wives because there's no women to marry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when humans try to control population.
Well, do you know what they
bad.
do with all those extra men? To the military!
Pretty much.
And that's all they're doing with it. They have over 1 million men in their military.
Just
Active
like
duty.
Active duty,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
So
We could make that army in a year if we didn't abort the babies.
Yeah.
good God.
Use all the unaborted children, put them into the military.
That'd be a better cause than just killing them right off the spot.
Yeah.
Just let them go
We'll
out to
kill them
war
when they're
and kill themselves.
21, 18.
You can't vote. I mean, you can't drink, but you can.
You can sign your life
die.
away. Is there anything else on this topic, or do we?
Well, I think the root issue of this is it's a heart problem. There's not any amount of like legislation. I mean, like legislation can help, and like having different rules can break. But at the core, it's a heart issue. People need to understand what they're doing, why, like what it is they're doing, and I think that's the main thing that's going to stop
But
bad things from happening.
that too.
Sorry. 1 second. I was going to say morality defines legality, and then legality also defines morality. They go hand in hand. If the vast majority of the population believes one thing, they're going to vote on it and make it that way.
We have to change morality first to change legislation.
Well,
I
we
guess
should
is what I'm
probably
saying.
address the rape argument.
But since before Roe v. Wade was a thing, the vast majority of the U.S. was pro-life. And since Roe v. Wade has stayed and everybody starts thinking it's okay, that showed that the legislation has started developing kind of a ripple effect in our morality.
Mm-hmm.
So they go hand in hand. They're not exactly the same, obviously, but they influence each other massively, both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Gemma, do you have something to say?
Can you go get a mic?
Like, okay, like literally,
You've just been talking
get a
over us the
mic or
whole
don't
time,
say
Jocelyn.
anything, please.
My biggest thing is it comes down to morality, but also in a day and age where we can't change that. And I don't think we'll ever be able to fully convince people of that.
I mean, the end times will be like in the days of Noah, so it's probably just going to get worse
Yeah.
if we really look at this in a...
Seriously.
Instead, we're going to have the babies born, and then we're going to sacrifice them to Harafakanda.
But I think a key
They used
thing
to do.
to think about
Yeah.
or that we need to be doing is creating a community that supports, not is like, wow, good job, and is like, what you did to get there is okay. But to be like, okay, I don't know, just to be more accepting, because a lot of women hear the stories of being kicked out and exiled by their families, or they hear, they go to school and they get bullied, or, there's just all sorts of just negativity around it. And I think that if we're going to say we're pro-life, we need to be standing up and not just, fighting for the unborn, but by, supporting the mothers that are in those situations. Because I think that too will make a difference, because a woman who's going in to get an abortion, if she's encountered by someone who's loving and supporting and is going to listen to her and helps and meets her where she's at, is less likely to get an abortion than going to plan. I just think support is a huge thing, and it was a huge thing for me. If I wasn't supported, I know I'd have Josephine, but I don't know where I'd be. That was a huge thing.
Well, and if you didn't have that family that gave you that mindset and taught you the right things, then you might not have Josephine at all.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think it's just like a problem with like Christianity within itself, is that like sometimes, you'll have these like really religious, like legalistic father figures in your life, or mother figures, whatever it may be. And it doesn't like really matter what it is if you're having a baby as like a teen, or if you're gay or whatever, and they just like instantly just kick you out. Like that's the problem. Like right there. It's just like we as Christians need to be more supportive of everything.
And that doesn't mean we condone the actions.
You just have to stand by them, and you just have to love on them.
So I think that's the biggest misconception that people have about Christianity and conservatives and all the people who are pro-life, is they like to sit here and go, oh, we don't care about the people who are getting abortions. That's what they say to us. Like, we don't care about the people who got pregnant. In fact, we scold them, we hate them because they went against God's will or whatever. And that's not true, because if you look at places like Live Action, for instance, a lot of these clinics, they'll provide blankets, they'll provide all these different things for your kids and help you become a mother. And if you want to make a decision for adoption or anything, they can always help with that. They have all these different things. And if you go on their Instagram, they have like lists of things that they provide that Planned Parenthood would never even think of doing for you.
Like even just showing the mom an ultrasound of their baby before, like,
it increases the chances of them having it, like, by a huge percentage.
And so they say that we're heartless and that we don't care about women and stuff. And it's like, no, we want to support these mothers. We want to help them as much as we possibly can. And
we care about human life.
Yeah,
we more than one human life here.
We also believe that thing inside of the mother is a baby, and that we want that baby to be born and grow up and have a great life. And there have been 1.6 billion dead babies in the past 30 years in the world because this misconception that we don't care about these kinds of people and that this is the only option.
So, yeah, and that's like if you walk around and you see 7 people, like that, it's like a 1.6 billion is over 1/7 of the planet. So you just line up 7 people and then you just cut one off. They're dead. Yeah. Like that's another thing to me. Like, aren't you like really grateful that your mom like didn't abort you? Aren't you like glad to be alive?
And I've seen, like, when I used to be in politics, I debated people who were on the pro-choice side, and I asked them, I said, what if your parents wanted to abort you? And they said, oh, I would support their cause. I said, well, you wouldn't be here to support their cause. Yeah. So it doesn't make much sense.
As a baby in the womb, just like, yeah.
As they're being dismembered.
No, but that's another big thing people always bring up is, like, I've been at, like, pro-abortion rallies trying to, like, go against it, and they're always like, my choice, my body. And, like, what gives you the right to tell me what to do? It's my body. And then, like, it's like if I see, this might be a pretty harsh analogy, but, like, if I see you in your backyard beating your dog, it's not my dog, it's not my backyard, but I'm just going to try to stop it because I don't think it's right.
I would think like, the ending of a human life is even worse than that.
Oh, well, obviously, but that's just, like, an example.
I know what you're saying. I know. People are going to be like, that's extreme. But
it's more extreme killing a human being.
Know. And one thing that I think a lot of women don't realize is they don't have to be the parent to that child. And not in a negative way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, like...
If you don't have, like, the financial capabilities and you don't have, like, I don't know, like, the mental capabilities to handle, like just
like
give
women,
it up to adoption. Yeah. Like, that is in my point of view, is so much better than just being dead. And people are like, well, I'd rather be dead than be in an adoption center. Like, what? Are you sure about that? Like, and they're like, well, what about like the 100,000 kids that are in adoption clinics right now? I was like, well, they get adopted, and once they're 18, they grow up and they have a life.
Well, and in this valley, there's a few kids for adoption, and none of them are babies. Yeah. There's no babies up for adoption. No one has any babies for adoption.
People who are like infertile and can't have them, like that's one of their only options they have left. And I think for me, my biggest pro-life thing is my best friend Lewis, who was born 3 months premature. And according to law, he would have been able to be aborted, but here he is. He's
plenty of weeks before.
Yeah, and he's my like living best friend, and I don't know like what I'd do without him. He's like my favorite person in the world.
And
so
another argument that I've heard against is, there's just, if you took away all the abortions and stuff, there would just the adoption centers, they would overflow. That's what I've heard. People have said that, and I'm looking here, and it says that an estimated 1 million U.S. families are looking to adopt at any time. Most of them are seeking infants. And I just think that there are a lot of arguments against them. I just don't think there's very good ones. And so you can try to sit here and try to justify your actions all you want, and that's fine. And the majority of the time, actually, I would hope every single time somebody gets an abortion or a mother gets an abortion, they believe that, this isn't an actual child. At least I would hope that they wouldn't think that they're just straight up ending a human life, and they're okay with that. Because the fact is it's the lack of education. They don't know. And that's why pretty much every single heartbeat bill, every single like abortion ban altogether doesn't punish the mother. It punishes the doctors because they know. They're the ones that are...
Yeah, they have medical information. They've been in school for however many years you go to school to be a certified doctor. It's like 8 years.
So those are the ones that get punished for it, and I'm fully in support of the doctors versus the mothers. I mean, you got to support the mothers. But the doctors, they know what they're doing, and they know that that's a human life. And people like, I believe her name is Ali Stuckey, or... No, that's not it. She started live action. I forget. Hold on.
Lila Rose.
Lila Rose is different, but there was another, I forget what her name is. I think her first name is Allie.
Abby Johnson?
Abby Johnson, that's who it is. Sorry. You got it right. And so she was an abortion doctor for many years, and she ended up flipping it around and actually starting an organization against Planned Parenthood, against abortions altogether, because she found out, she was like, wow, this is really what's happening.
Yeah.
And like the process of abortion itself is just gruesome.
If you've ever been able to watch a video of an abortion,
it's awful. They go in with like these tongs and they reach around, they grab for a leg or an arm, and they just pull it off.
There was a doctor that was testifying against it, and he was like and he's like, you go in there with the scalpel and you grab a leg and you pull it out until you, and then he's like, and then you grab the skull and you squeeze down until you crush the brains and see the brains bleeding out.
Yeah, and you know you've got it when the white stuff comes coming out.
That's what he said.
They're forming brain material.
And it's actually not legal to show photo or video in Congress when it comes to when they're like debating on a law. And I think that if that was an option for us, that you could totally just completely flip the side, because people, they just don't know.
Well, that kind of brings back the late term abortions, which a lot of people think are wrong, and then the early kind of abortions, which
people are more lenient on, I think.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so the biggest thing that you always hear is the rape case, right? What happens if they're raped? Gemma, do you have anything to say on that? Like statistics? It's like,
I don't have statistics.
I know rape is like
0.1%. It's 1%
like
from rape and 0.5% of incest.
Yep. It's
it's
so
less than 1%.
low, but it's one of the biggest arguments that people bring up.
That's another argument, is that you say, okay, well, how about this? We allow abortions for rape and incest, and then we take away all the other ones.
See, the problem with that is that once you have
a
rape, like a rape law, the number of false rape accusations are gonna skyrocket.
No, I know. I'm just saying the argument that you say against that is, okay, if we were to allow it for rape but not anything else, would you be in support of that? And they would never say yes. Nobody ever says yes to that, who's in support of abortion, because what it is they're basically using these people, these poor victims of rape and incest, for their own benefit, so that way they can get an abortion.
Yeah. So I mean, you just have to you have to stand by the victim. Like
And the biggest thing, I mean, if you apply this to any other scenario, like my thing is like, no matter what has happened to you, it never gives you the right to murder. If I were to slap you right now, it doesn't give you the right to slap me back. If I was to go kill someone, or if someone was to kill my sister, I don't have any right to go kill him because I'd be charged with murder too. Like in every other situation.
Much less kill a child.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, speaking of killing,
murder.
if you kill a pregnant woman, you're charged with double homicide.
Yeah.
Not in New York anymore. They changed
Really?
that because
Oh my
of
gosh.
everything.
So.
But yeah, it used to be that way.
But I don't know. I just think the rape and incest thing is a very delicate topic to talk about.
That's
but
almost
it should
yeah.
not be brought like that should not be the excuse to use for an abortion.
It's almost like a different. There's abortion, and then above that, there's the rape and incest argument, which is it's like a really deep thing that you really have to know like every single detail of the story to justify anything.
Another misconception that a lot of people use is religious belief, which is something that they're going to use against this podcast if they discover it. Is they say religious belief, oh, you guys are just doing this because you were raised this way. And I can speak from experience that I had this position before I ever became Christian. And I will always have this position because I researched it myself. And so you want to sit here and say, oh, you just, because God knew you before you were formed in the womb. That's not what I'm saying. I don't care about the whole God side of it. I mean,
Well, you do
don't get
care,
me
but
wrong.
it doesn't matter.
I'm saying regardless of whether or not God said anything about it, I would still feel the way I do.
It's just like protecting the innocent and just defending those who can't defend themselves. Like,
And that's where I wish, I mean, just like in law, like you see they're blindfolded because you don't want your emotions. You don't like, you're not supposed to get emotions involved. And that's why a jury, you can't have any relationship. And the same thing, like we're bringing our feelings into this argument, which is muddling it and making it hard. Whereas if we just simply looked at scientific facts, which a lot of people nowadays are like, look at the science, like get this because of the science. And you're like, great. Don't get an abortion because of the science.
I'm
like,
looking at the science. Yeah.
So another question that a lot of people would get is, if we support death row, like capital punishment per se, how would we ever be against abortion? Because both of them are human lives.
The difference is someone literally did something to be deserved on death row, and someone was literally just had literally no say.
The way I view it is that children, especially babies, they're the most innocent among us. They have literally done nothing wrong.
Yeah, there's
nothing
more
that they
innocence
have
than
done.
baby.
And so when you talk about the question of human life, and then you have to also bring in justice into it, what did that person do? Are we just picking random homeless people off the street and injecting them, stopping their heart? No, we're not doing that. We're doing people who have raped and killed people, which, by the way, a lot of pro-choice people claim to be against rape. They've raped and killed people, children sometimes. I've actually seen, like, the most recent one was a guy, he got put on death row for raping a bunch of kids, and I don't even think it went through. But the point is that if you are against abortion, how can you be for death row is because you got to look at justice of it. What did each person do wrong, and what is the deserving crime of that?
And that's why we
Or the
have a court
deserving
of law,
punishment
is
of it.
everyone gets a fair trial. And that's another thing, is babies just, they never get
Fair trial.
So God is the ultimate judge. He will judge you based on your actions, and granted, we are saved by grace through Jesus Christ. But he will judge you on your actions if you aren't saved by this. And so I've heard this one with hell a lot, is there isn't just one level of hell. Nobody suffers the same. You suffer a punishment equal to your amount of damage done in the world, what the sins you've committed.
That's a whole other topic.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that right now.
I think we wrapped that up pretty well, right?
Yeah.
You want to hop into
Gemma,
some
is there
Q&A?
any
Any statements or words or on abortion? Yeah.
on abortion.
Yes.
I mean, I think the biggest thing you have is your baby. And
Yeah,
like, look
your
at this.
testimony
What
is-
if you killed this? Like,
It's the cutest
Yeah.
little thing alive. Like,
Poor Josephine, she wouldn't be here today.
I think about that all the time.
yeah.
So scary. My biggest thing, like if I
hold on, another question first. Like, if you didn't have to deal with any of like the personal or like other people, like what they thought about you, like repercussions. Like if you could go back and change time to where you were like never pregnant, would you do it? Or was Josephine that good of a influence in your life?
No, I needed Josephine. I think God knew I needed Josephine, and the beautiful thing I always think about is right before I'd broken up, and then I was like, okay, God, I'm ready to turn my life around. I'm ready to get my butt in gear, and I found out I was pregnant. I was like, okay, and at first I was like, gosh, this is not what I meant. Like, this is going to make it worse. But now that I'm a year plus in, like, Josephine, she really did save me, and she made me realize how beautiful life is, and just how, I don't know, how we need to think before we act.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
That's awesome, yeah.
Yeah,
so
so
cool.
I wouldn't change it. No way.
That was a great question, actually.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So concluding on that, since I loaded this page, there's been 5,000 abortions worldwide. I'm closing the page. We're done. Okay, let's move on to the questions now.
Quick Q&A.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
What is God's purpose for you guys? Do you have any plans on serving in the military? This is from Catalina.
I really wish I could tell you what my purpose is, but I don't know, because that is something.
Wait, I can just pull this up on my computer.
Let me pull my purpose up real quick. Hold on. Let me have this planned
According to Wikipedia, my purpose is.
I guess
Urban Dictionary defines my future job as.
All right, I guess I'll go first. Like, my purpose is what I'm doing right now, honestly. It's like, it doesn't have to be the podcast, but just spreading truth, I think, and spreading Jesus is what a Christian's purpose should be, in a sense, besides growing their personal relationship with God. And so I think there's purpose, and then there's like passions and stuff that we can do to help the purpose.
There's calling, purpose,
and so like in that sense, I think like photography and videography is like a really cool thing I can use as a tool to like work on or like help the passion be my passion, I guess. I don't know, it's kind of complicated, but like I don't have like, I want to save all the turtles in the ocean is my purpose.
Yeah.
I want to save all the lost human. Yeah, it's like,
I would say the difference between calling and purpose
men.
is calling is like what you're personally called to, and purpose is just like Christian's purpose in general. Mm-hmm. We all know our call. We all know our purpose, right? Our purpose is to spread like the word of God and just like be as good as possible as we can.
Like Jesus.
But yeah, it's to be like Jesus. But
I've got it. Sorry, just pulled
my purpose.
My purpose.
Pulled it up. But yeah, no, I really don't know my calling, which is I think what you're trying to get to here. But your second part of the question is like, are you planning to serve in the military?
I don't want to be in the military with Joe Biden in charge.
So
to say that, but
I like as a little kid, I always thought it was like the coolest thing, and there's like for me, if I don't find something that I love within the time that is allowed between like me, like a year or 2 years, if I don't find anything in then yep, there we go, I'm in the military. But unless I find something that God has called me to do, then I will work there.
I think it'd be so cool to have like our own little militia.
Yeah.
Just like all like.
Gemma, you wanted to join the Air Force, right?
I did for a very long
we gotta like
time.
hang up guns in the back or something.
Here's an AI generated image of Joe Biden.
And cut. You want me to answer?
Yeah,
yes.
Wolfgang's up.
What is God's purpose for you guys? If I knew that, it probably wouldn't go as well as I thought it would.
So you're talking about calling?
Yeah, well, I'm talking about purpose in the sense that, like, if you have a set specific plan for everything, it's never going to go that way.
Yeah, but
And
your
you have
plan,
to, yeah, because you
Nope.
you have limited knowledge. That's why the Bible says, "Don't lean on your own understanding, lean on God's understanding." It's pretty convenient because God knows everything, and so you don't really know your set specific dream. You don't know your set specific goal, and so. Why would you try to create a set specific dream or set specific goal? Now, granted, you should have a concept of what you want to do. You should be like, oh, I like agriculture, or I like flying planes, or something like that.
Yeah, you gotta.
But it's not like I am
But
going to.
don't be
find
surprised
someone.
when it totally flips too.
Well, that could happen, but I'm just saying. But if you're like, don't sit there and go, well, I'm just gonna walk up to someone in Aspen and ask them to be a private jet flyer or pilot.
I'd do
for
that
them.
in a heartbeat.
I know you would, but it's not always going to turn out that way, is what I'm saying. And so you got to be like, how will this turn out?
We should make a shirt called "Flexible for Jesus."
Flexible for Jesus.
I love that.
But just
That's hilarious.
So just my point is that I don't really know 100%. I think I might have an idea. I want to follow through with that idea, but I'm never going to be 100% sure.
That's cool.
So that's why I'm kind of keeping my mind open, just letting God do the work.
That's the right mindset.
Gemma, do you have an answer?
My purpose? I really feel called to help other women in hard situations.
Mm-hmm.
It's been placed on my heart, and I'm kind of doing that right now.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But,
Mission accomplished.
Our viewer base is like 78% girls. So,
well, it
I
used to
wonder
be.
why.
We've kind of leveled that out, actually. Believe
That's
it or
great.
not.
Really?
yeah, sweet.
More or less.
Girls, I got you.
So,
We'll have Gemma drive down every single week just for you guys.
our next and favorite question
My
ever
GoFundMe. I'm just
is trolling.
Aiden's little zoo bear. I'm sorry, I had to say.
Is trolling a sin? From Zuba Gaming. For people
How
who
Kyle put it, it depends how you troll.
That's how you troll.
This is not trolling like for fishing for fish or trolling. I think that's also called trolling. I don't know. I'm not a fisherman.
Yeah, you're right. It's okay.
Trolling is in the sense of playing with other people's minds, kind of.
Thank
I
you.
was gonna say something else.
Making them go crazy.
Yeah, it's almost like I think, is gaslighting a form of trolling?
Well, that's just kind of like, I think
Yeah.
gaslighting is just a little messed up.
Yeah,
in
that's
general.
that's the sin version of trolling. It depends what kind of trolling it is.
Yeah, if you're just making fun of somebody, like jokingly playing along with them, I don't think it's necessarily.
I feel like Jesus trolled sometimes, like in his parables, when he was like, even if you look at a woman with lust, it's sin. People are like, wait, what? And he's kind of like messing with them.
or when he told him to sell all his possessions.
kidding.
I think he was trolling with him a little bit there too. He was like, So, I mean, it really depends what kind. I troll my
ultimate
friends
troll.
in video games all the time when I drive the car off the cliff and we all die.
It's all in good fun. All in good spirit.
It was fun.
Does it cause a laugh from everyone? Then yeah, it's cool.
All right.
Um,
Are the boys on the two sides brother? You look a lot alike.
I don't know if you're talking about me and Luke, me and Wolfgang,
No.
or
By the way, I didn't mispronounce any of that. That was exactly how it was worded. I don't know if Luke wrote it like that.
are the boys
No, I copy and pasted.
brother? You look alike.
It said bother. I'm pretty sure.
No, it says brother. Oh,
Yes,
bother.
we are
It does
brothers.
say
Me
bother.
and
And
Luke
fathers,
are
I'm
brothers,
kidding.
And
No
we're
one
all
else
brothers
is
and
related.
sisters in Christ. So that finished off that question.
Amen.
Amen, brother.
I think we should probably do one more question because
Yeah, we are
We're
gonna
going.
over time.
Maybe Tariq D.
sure.
When were angels created? You all-knowing beings.
Or did they exist with God?
Okay. I'm going to say this out loud. The Bible doesn't tell us.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, does it matter? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, well, to answer the question, angels, yes, I think they were created.
yeah, for sure.
well,
They weren't
obviously,
always existent with God and omniscient with Him.
God wasn't just sitting here like, oh, I have a bunch of lowlifes next to me this entire time.
So I think we answered the question. It didn't ask when were angels created. It's asking, hey, what do you think angels were created, or did they
No,
exist
it
with
says,
God?
when do you think angels were created?
So they were they were obviously like created within that 7-day period of creation. When we don't like
well,
when we
it's when
don't
everything
know.
besides
Maybe
God was
before.
created.
No, well,
No, I
they were
think
probably
This is fun
in
to
the
read
7
about.
they
You
were
should
probably
just
in-
Google it.
they were probably in the 7 days of creation. I would imagine when he created heaven and earth. I guess that maybe they were just kind of like a DLC of heaven. They kind of just
Part of
you
the
know,
heaven aspect
yeah,
of it.
it kind of
yeah.
just linked into that. But
Downloadable.
they were obviously
they were a
they were
data
obviously
pack.
there before the fall because Lucifer was there already.
Yeah, in the garden.
I think they were probably created before the tree of knowledge was, because I think for me, when God gave Adam and Eve like the free will, he probably also gave the angels that, and that's probably when the fall happened and a third of the angels fell along with Lucifer. But that's just my take. I don't know.
Yeah, no, they were
Tariq,
definitely
there is no concrete.
before humans.
Oh, this is
but I
kinda
don't
cool,
think they
just-
were everlasting.
Shut up.
Shut up, Wolfgang.
Sorry, this is cool. I love stuff like this. But this is from. Granted, this is, I think, from a more Catholic point of view. But it says that
It's
one of the
probably
most
the same.
plausible theories claims that all angels were created on the first day of creation and that the fall of Satan occurred when God separated the light from the dark. And hence, yeah.
Interesting.
That's cool.
There's probably some like super
Something like
theological
really,
ways to look
yeah,
at this.
something like really super interesting is that when he like created like light and dark, he didn't create the sun yet. He
was-
created
Oh, like-
light and dark, so
oh,
there
like
was
the
there was no
SUN
sun yet.
Okay.
There was like no, I don't know if it was like
Well, maybe that was
physical
the light.
version of light, or
Well,
Maybe
Jesus
that
is going to
was
be the light in in heaven.
yeah, but no,
I
he
mean,
created
sun.
he created
Jesus
he
is
created
up
the
there as the
planets.
sun.
He created the planets on the 4th day. Okay,
1,000
well,
days.
I hope Tyreek, you have peace, or however you pronounce your name. I really have no idea. I'm sorry.
Gemma, any finishing out what's their most inspirational thing you can say right now to end us off with?
I've been asked this a lot, and I
What is
butcher
as
it
a
every
woman,
time. Yes.
This is your
as
one
a
chance.
woman, what's your wisdom?
I feel like it's cliche, but don't let your situation define you. I think that every single person, male or female, is capable to rise to the occasion in work, in like crisis situations, in anything. Like you were created capable, and God will never give you more than he can handle. God does not want you to fail. He loves each and every one of us. And so just know that if you ever hit something that you're like, dang, I don't know if I can get past this, like you can. And
Not by yourself though. You have to.
no. But that's where if you
Exactly.
physically feel like you are alone, that's where you really need to lean on God. But then if you are surrounded by amazing people, then lean on them too, because
They're
yeah.
leaning on God, so it's like a chain. I'm trying to find the verse where it's like, he'll never give you anything you can't handle.
I'm
Is
pretty
it
sure
a
it
Bible
says
verse?
he'll never give you a
It's
temptation.
temptation, but kind of the same thing. So 1 Corinthians 10:13. He will also provide a way out so that you can endure it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Kind of
So
relates
like
to that.
yeah.
He's
You're
not going to
never-
give you anything that dooms you.
Nope.
Well,
Nope.
I love the verse that's saying like trials produce perseverance, and
Yeah.
perseverance like makes your life a lot better.
It does. Yeah.
Nice. Well, with that said, go follow Gem on Instagram. Go follow her journey, whatever she's working
Yeah,
on. I'll
awesome.
leave it in
Thank
the
you so
links
much
below.
for joining us today.
Yeah,
Thanks
so
for
much for
having
being
me.
on.
This was fun.
And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Well, actually, I'm not sure if me and Jen will be here, but maybe.
Yeah, so bye guys.
I'm gonna make
Woo!
Jesus is a friend of mine.
Jesus is my friend.
Jesus is a friend of
I have a friend in Jesus.
Jesus is a friend of mine.
Jesus is my friend.